The Roman Empire was a civilization of immense power, ambition, and excess. But few figures in its history have left a darker legacy than Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, better known as Caligula. His name has become synonymous with madness, cruelty, and unrestrained debauchery. Though his reign lasted less than 4 years, it remains one of the most scandalous and debated periods in history. But beyond his political tyranny, Caligula is remembered for something far more disturbing: the alleged incestuous relationships he had with his own sisters. Were these rumors merely political slander, or did Rome truly witness one of the most depraved rulers to ever hold power? Born in 12 AD, Caligula was the son of Germanicus, a beloved Roman general, and Agrippina the Elder, a woman of noble blood. His early years were filled with admiration from the Roman people, as he was seen as the heir to a great and honorable lineage. But Rome was a dangerous place for those close to power. When his father mysteriously died in 19 AD, likely poisoned by political rivals, Caligula's family became a target. His mother and 2 of his brothers were accused of treason, imprisoned, and eventually executed or starved to death. Caligula, however, was spared, perhaps because he was still a child or because he was seen as politically useful. His survival came at a cost. At just 17 years old, he was sent to live under the watchful eye of Emperor Tiberius on the island of Capri. Tiberius was an aging ruler, notorious for his paranoia and perverse indulgences, and Capri had become a place of twisted pleasures and cruelty. It was here that Caligula witnessed the darkest aspects of imperial power: torture, executions, and excess beyond imagination. Some historians believe that these years shattered whatever innocence remained in him. Others suggest that he learned the ultimate lesson of Roman politics: to survive, one had to be ruthless. In 37 AD, Tiberius died under suspicious circumstances, and Caligula, backed by the powerful Praetorian Guard, became the new emperor of Rome. The Senate, the military, and the Roman people rejoiced, believing that the young and charismatic Caligula would restore Rome's greatness. For the first few months, he did exactly that. He ended political exiles, staged lavish games for the people, and gave generous donations to the military. But then, something changed. Some say it was an illness that nearly killed him. Others believe it was the intoxicating effect of absolute power. Whatever the reason, Caligula transformed from a promising young ruler into one of the most feared emperors in history. He began to exhibit behavior that seemed unhinged. He declared himself a living god, demanding that temples be built in his honor. He spent the empire's wealth on extravagant feasts, golden statues, and absurd projects, such as building a floating bridge across the Bay of Baiae just so he could ride his horse across it. He executed senators for the smallest perceived insults and humiliated Rome's elite by forcing them to participate in degrading spectacles. But it was his personal life that sparked the most disturbing rumors. Of all his sisters, Caligula's relationship with Drusilla was the most infamous. Ancient sources, including Suetonius and Cassius Dio, claim that he took her as his lover, even forcing her husband to annul their marriage so that she could belong solely to him. Some accounts suggest that he treated her as his wife, bringing her to public events in a manner that shocked even Rome's decadent society. Whether the allegations were true or not, it was clear that Drusilla was the only person who held any influence over him. When she suddenly died in 38 AD, Caligula was devastated. He declared her a goddess, ordered Rome into mourning, and, according to some accounts, descended further into madness. Some even claimed that he slept beside her corpse, though this could have been an exaggeration meant to highlight his depravity. His other sisters, Agrippina the Younger and Julia Livilla, were also not spared from the emperor's obsession. While there is no definitive proof that he engaged in incest with them, rumors of coercion and manipulation spread throughout Rome. Years later, when Caligula's enemies rose against him, they would use these allegations as justification for his assassination. As his reign continued, Caligula's actions became increasingly erratic. He wasted Rome's resources on bizarre projects, such as planning a military campaign against the sea itself, ordering his soldiers to attack the waves and collect seashells as war trophies. He humiliated Rome's nobility, forcing high-ranking senators' wives into prostitution, and allegedly considered appointing his beloved horse, Incitatus, as a consul. Whether this was an actual plan or a cruel joke at the expense of the Senate remains unknown. But no emperor, no matter how powerful, could rule through fear alone forever. His increasing paranoia led him to execute members of his own Praetorian Guard, the very men sworn to protect him. He underestimated their loyalty to Rome over their loyalty to him. On January 24th, 41 AD, the Guards struck. As Caligula left the Palatine Games, he was ambushed in a corridor by assassins led by Cassius Chaerea, a man he had mocked and humiliated for years. The first strike was to his neck, but it did not kill him. He fell to the ground, screaming in rage. The conspirators stabbed him over 30 times, ensuring he would never rise again. His wife and daughter were executed soon after, erasing his bloodline from history. Rome, once terrorized by his rule, erased his name from official records in a practice known as damnatio memoriae, the ultimate punishment for a disgraced ruler. Yet, despite Rome's efforts to erase him, Caligula's name endured. But was he truly as monstrous as history remembers? Ancient historians despised him, and much of what we know comes from sources that may have been exaggerated or biased. While it is undeniable that he was a cruel, erratic, and reckless ruler, some of the more extreme allegations, including the full extent of his incestuous relationships, could have been political smears. But one thing is certain: Caligula was a man who wielded unlimited power with no restraint, and in the end, he paid the ultimate price.